Just in the Kitchen with me, your host, Justine. I'm here bringing you Easter recipes. This recipe is an asparagus tart, and it's kind of a mix of asparagus that I'd gotten at this one restaurant that was wrapped with cheese and prosciutto, and then drizzled with a balsamic glaze, and then a tart that I've had before with cheese, and they just put cheese in there and maybe a little Dijon, and then just put your asparagus in there and baked it. So I've put the best of both worlds together today. First, I know it's really a hard time for everybody. I get that. So on any of these recipes, if you don't have what I am using, like I use a shallot, which is a milder onion flavor, and I use 2 tablespoons of shallots. So what I would say to you is use 1 tablespoon of onion, just chopped very, very finely. You don't have balsamic vinegar, that's fine. You can leave it off. Just put a little more Dijon to give it more spice. The cheeses, you could use cheddar, although I am using Gruyere. You could use Fontina, whatever cheeses you have on. I mean, this is just, other than the asparagus pulp, the asparagus, it's mostly pantry items that you would have if you cook. And this is a puff pastry, but really, you could use biscuit dough, roll it out, or use croissant dough, roll it out. But I'm using puff pastry. And so what we'll start with is the puff pastry, and I've let it thaw a little bit, and then I'm just gonna roll it out a little bit longer and a little bit wider. And I did want to reflour my lightly. You just want to get it all about even. And this will puff up. And I'm going to get it out to about, I don't know, 12 by, or 10 by 12 maybe? 8 by 12. Whatever your little heart desires. And then I'm just gonna straighten up the sides, and if it tears a little bit, because it does a lot of times in the fold tear, that's fine. Just smoosh it over. There we go. Do, do, do. All right. So now I have a pan. And I think it's about a 10 by 13, 11 by 13. This is a 12 by 16, so it's a little bit bigger than my pan, but that's okay because it's not going to fill the whole pan. And then what I'm going to do is set this in here. Oops. Stretch it out. Make sure it doesn't tear. And if it does, not a big deal because you can just fix it. It is dough, right? Dun, dun, dun. All done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bake it, blind bake it for about 15 minutes. I'm going to blind bake it. Before I do, I'm going to call what's it's called docking. So it doesn't get so puffy and you can't put your stuff in there. So it'll keep it down. And this is just so it doesn't get all soggy. It'll get a little crispy, a little cooked at first. And I'm just poking little holes in it. There's no rhyme, no reason. You're mad at your spouse because, he's getting on your nerves. Jam, 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 jam. Cat's bugging you. Dog's getting on your nerves. There you go. And this is for a child. Ooh, just a little light one. All right. There you go. I'm just going to put it in the oven while I go and mix all the rest of my ingredients. So I washed my asparagus, and mine are very thin. And I cut them down, the hard pieces on the bottom. I just broke one off, and where it broke, that's where I cut the other ones. Now I'm just going to put them, olive oil, about 2 tablespoons. Just kind of move them around. I'm going to add a little pepper. And I'm going to add a little bit of salt. Kosher salt. Remember what I say, you want every level seasoned. That was about a teaspoon maybe. There you go. And those are done. Now, let me go wash my hands for 20 seconds. Has anyone ever seen those cute songs that they have for washing your hands? Some of the Broadway stars have put out songs and everything, and it is so funny. I love it. So, what I have here, actually, I don't even think I need that bowl. I just wanted it out. See my Easter bowl, my Peter Rabbit bowl? I just wanted it out. Now, I have 2 cups of Gruyere cheese. You could use Fontina, whatever. I have milk. If you don't have milk, you could use something else, just not something sweet, not condensed milk. You could even add probably an extra egg in here and a little bit of water to moisten it up if you don't have that. I have some Parmigiano Reggiano, about 1/3 cup. I'm not going to salt this. This is pretty salty. I have 2 eggs. Egg yolk, sorry. There you go. Get some more egg out because those yolks were a little bit small. They don't have the extra large like I use. So, there we go. I might add 1 more egg in there just because my egg was small. Actually, I'm going to add in my yolks. It just calls for egg yolks and not whites, but we're not wasting anything. I was going to make some macarons out of those, but I needed extra and I don't want to waste. And what if I don't get around to making the macarons? Then I'm going to add in some Dijon mustard, just to make it a little, probably about 1.5 tablespoons. There we go. And you want it about like that. The other was too dry. See? That's about how wet you want it. And as I said, I'm not going to put salt in here, sorry. Here are my shallots, but like I said, if you don't have shallots, use onions. If you have green onions, use those. Green onions are lighter than regular onions. And I will add a little bit of pepper. There we go. All right. That's my filling. Now I have ham, prosciutto, not ham, sorry. But if you don't have prosciutto, use regular ham. Doesn't matter. I just happen to have some prosciutto to be used. Boom, bam, bang. And the ham that I gave you the recipe for, you could put underneath that. And that would be very good. Although it would make it a lot sweeter. Okay? Let's see if my pastry puff is ready. Now, my puff pastry, I got a little bit more well done than I wanted to. That's okay. It'll just be crispy, not soggy. And I'm just going to put the prosciutto on there. As much as I can, get it straight. But, like I said, if you don't have prosciutto, use ham. And, oh, this is going to be so good. So we're having, this is our Easter, basically. Our Easter dinner. We're having it early so I can show everybody how to do it. And this was 8 slices of prosciutto that went across. You could have done 7, but I had 8, so I put 8 on there. Then, don't get it all the way to the ends. right. Then you take your cheese mixture, you spread it on there. Oh, that looks so good. And it smells so good. Whoa. I want to take a bite of it. And it's not even done. Pan is hot. I know it. Oops. A little ham. There we go. It's almost like a ham and cheese Gruyere sandwich. And that was another thing when I was kind of doing up this recipe. You know, the croque monsieur that has the cheese sauce and everything. That's kind of what I was thinking of. Oh. I did forget a little nutmeg in this, which I put, and I'll put in the recipe, but I forgot it here. That's okay. Now, I'm going to put my asparagus across. Just lay them very nicely, end to end. There you go. And like I said, if your asparagus are thicker, see mine are baby thin, and that's what they had at the store, and yours happen to be thicker, by all means, blanch them for 2 or 3 minutes, and then put them in ice water. Just lay them down there and try and get them across in one single layer. Because they curve, they don't always want to go right next to each other. Some are a little longer. That's okay. This is rustic, right? There we go. Now we're just going to put it in the oven, 400 degrees for, actually I'm putting mine at 375. Mine runs a little bit hot. So if your oven runs a little bit hot, do it at 375, put it in the oven. I put it like in the middle of the oven. I don't put it at the bottom of the rack because it's already, it'll make the cheese hard. Let me see if I can fit any more of these on. They look so good. I don't want to leave any of my babies off. So we are having ham. We are having ham tonight with this, and we're having carrot cake. Yay! And all this a week before Easter. All right, I think I've got enough. And then I'll put it back in the oven, and we'll be back. We're back. And what I like to do is put a little balsamic glaze on here. And if you don't have it, all you do is you take balsamic and you put it in a pot and you boil it until it becomes very thick. And then you just put it over top. I just happen to have that. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is so good. That little balsamic bite in there gives it a little bit of sweetness, and it counterpoints the cheese, the Gruyere cheese, which is a little nutty and a little salty. You can't go wrong with this. Oh my gosh. Any kind of cheese you want. The crust is crunchy. Can you hear that? And flaky. I just got another taste of that balsamic glaze. Like I said, I got this from Kroger. It's just a private selection, but I've made it before. And as I said, you put the balsamic in a pan. You don't want about this much. You want just a little bit. And then you cook it till it gets thick and syrupy. And then you just put it over top. So, for this recipe and more, go to www.justinthekitchen.com, smack that subscribe button, and ring the bell. And you'll get all these recipes as I put them out. And I'm going to tell you, absolutely delicious. You can do it any way, with any cheese you want. And like I said, if you use bigger asparagus and that's all your store has, blanch them first. And I'll put that in the directions if you have bigger asparagus. But you like them a little crunchy. You don't want them all soggy. I think when I was a kid, that's why I did not like vegetables like broccoli and asparagus, because they were cooked to the inch of their lives and they were just mushy, messy, yucky, horrible tasting things. This, oh my gosh, it's like a cheese heaven. It's like God came down and said, hey, you can't go to church this Easter? That's okay. I'm going to give you a little heaven on the plate. And right here it is. Oh, it's so good. Let me know down in the comments what you would like to see. And let me know if you cook this for your Easter dinner, because it's the bomb. Puff pastry is very easy to get, but like I said, you can use biscuits. Or you could use croissant dough. I just happen to have puff pastry. All right? You guys have a wonderful, blessed Easter. We will make it throughout this thing. We will have it beat and we'll be on the other side of it, okay? God bless you. Love you. Talk to you soon. Bye.